really looking forward to this panel to learn more about the real-world applications for aerial inspections. So a little bit about me. I'm currently working with Air Traffic Management magazine. You might say, okay, what's that got to do with UAM? But the magazine's 25 years old, so we're not going to change the name. But we've been covering these topics for about 2 years now. And as I said, we expanded the focus about 2 years ago. I've been with the magazine since 2020. Before that, I was in various marketing leadership roles across the industry, including leading global marketing for Frequentis for more than 4 years. So for those of you who know Frequentis, that's the ATM, ATC side of the industry. I also worked in telecommunications with Nokia and cybersecurity with Juniper Networks. So I tend to come with these topics from a technology perspective. So how does it work? How does it all fit together? And additionally, I actually have a marketing consultancy. I'm not full-time with the magazine, where I help companies go to market and define and launch who they are. So I also try to think of technology, not just technology for technology's sake, but what does it actually mean to the customer? What does it actually mean to the end user? So is there a reason to have this new shiny thing, or is it just something that a tech company thought was cool to put out there? So with that, I will hand it over to Matthias.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having the chance to introduce myself and introduce our company. We are HHLA Sky. HHLA Sky is a 100% daughter company of the Hamburg Harbor Logistics AG. So we are running the Hamburg Harbor, the terminals. So we have 6 of them in Hamburg. We have Trieste, we have Odessa, and we have Tallinn harbors. In between, we are running the railways to transport the containers out of the harbors and to connect all southern and eastern Europe. Out of our own challenges, we have in our harbors, the CEO of the group told me, okay, Matthias, make drones available for critical infrastructure. That was in 2018. And when I was researching and getting into that topic, I found out, oh, that's not easy to do. Basically, you cannot buy a drone which is suitable for critical infrastructure use, because we have higher demands for cybersecurity, for safety, and all this kind of stuff. And then what kind of software do I need to control all these systems? How do I does inventory management and all these kind of things? And after the research, we decided, okay, getting all this stuff together, managing, let's say, maybe 5 different companies to putting the things together we need to do our operations, that maybe takes too much time, so we build it ourselves. So I got the permission from our CEO to build our portfolio ourselves. So this is what we have so far developed. You can see our different kind of drones. For different use cases, for transport, for surveillance, for inspections, and also for logistics, the driving robot, also for surveillance, for fence surveillance, for example. And we have a central software developed, which is an industry IoT platform, which controls all these kind of robots, stations, whatever you want to connect to it, it can be connected, and and the process is made safe operations and cyber secure operations for the ICC. And then we also develop the UTM technologies for the public airspace. So we basically have developed over the last 4 years this complete value chain of drone economy, let's say.
Thank you. Philip.
Thanks a lot for having me here. I'm the head of drone and robot by Swisscom. Now the unit is 1 year old. So we kind of have our first birthday. And Swisscom has been looking into the drone business for quite a while. We have 2 businesses. One is the marketing, there's good guys and bad guys. Bad guys is all the defense part, because obviously that has been since quite some year quite a huge topic. now with the Ukraine war and also what happens in Israel, you see now really what can also happen with drone. So we are in that business for quite a while, protecting prisons, airports, and right now we are on the way to roll out whole networks for whole cities. That's defense part. And as I said, we are also in the operational part, and many people are asking me, why is Swisscom doing it? It's a telecom provider. And what I really think, and what at the moment also the telecom provider have understood is, drone is not just delivering connectivity. There is a lot more what the telecom needs to help the market, how to process. Ground risk is a very important topic. Air risk is also very important, and obviously also connectivity in the air. We have already heard it. It's quite a crucial thing, and it was also for a telco operator quite hard to know how good the network is in the air. So this is also a very important thing what we need to be able to tell our customer, not just give them a SIM card and here you go. We need to be able to provide them a secure connection in the air, and that's something where we have already worked quite a while on it. But since 1 year, that's also the reason we founded now the unit, is our customer, they are coming with us with a problem. And they expect to solve a use case, and this is expected from us because we are digitalization partner. That's what we say in the market. So imagine someone like a big corporation, they don't want to deal with a SORA and with what is the best solution and air risk, ground risk, all that kind of. They want to have a use case solved. So more and more approached us and said, hey, can you help us to actually solve that use case? And that's what we are doing since about 1 year now. And that's also that we are now not just a drone mobile operator, we are now also a drone operator. And 1 year ago, many people told me that the telco business is not understanding the aerial business. And I need to say now, they were totally true. It's for us a new area, it's for us things which work a bit different from the area where we are used to it. But it was very pleasure up to now to learn from you what is actually matter in the aerial business and try to connect those two words, because we hear it later on, but I'm very convinced that we are at the step now where we are really in that BVLOS operational possibility over a longer distance, that this is now really where we are. And that's what I do with my team all the day. Yeah, that's about me.
Great, thank you. So I'd like to kick off the questioning with 2 questions that I'd like to ask both of you. And the first one, and for you, Philip, think of Swisscom as their own aerial inspections as opposed to the services you offer. What have you both learned over the last, let's say, year or so that you think would be the biggest benefit for cities that want to implement aerial inspections based on your own use within your organizations?
Yeah, for me it's basically labor shortage. As we have heard it today from René in the morning, we are basically not producing enough construction engineers. Boom, that's it. So that means to maintain our infrastructure, bridges, roads, all this kind of stuff, where we need data. So to elaborate, do we need to fix the bridge or do we have to tear it down and build a new one? So who is collecting all this kind of information or data? It's engineers. So we do not have enough engineers, therefore we need drones, we need walking robots, driving robots, whatever to solve our problems. So this is, for me, the biggest benefit of the mobile robots, what we can have, because these are helping us to achieve our sustainability goals. And this is obviously still one of our main topics.
So we have lots of data and not enough workers, right? Philip?
Yes, this is definitely a problem, and it's all about efficiency. So if you see the tower here next by, it's the Bantiger, it's almost 300 meter high. And you can imagine how long it takes someone to climb it up to the inspection. And it's dangerous, and it needs a lot of time. With a drone, this is done in 5 minutes. And this is yeah, where we don't need to speak whether it's efficient or not. And this is in all area. You see that utility companies, they have already realized it. To inspect a grid was something so complex prior to drone availability. Now it's a very easy thing. And I'm just putting solar cells to my rooftop. And obviously the guy is not going up to the roof anymore. He starts the drone, one picture, and then he has everything what he knows. So there is a huge potential, and in my eyes, it's also the biggest drone market at the moment. There is the most revenue produced in all kind of those applications.
Okay, you want to add something? Did you want
Yeah, I just want to give one more example. For example, what we do for our mother company. So we have these container bridges. You know, they take in the container from the boat to the roads, and then they are picked up with a VC, and then they go to whatever trucks or trains and things like that. So we have 60 of them. So 60 of them. One of them is about more than 2,000 tons of steel. So and to inspect, we have to report twice a year that these container bridges are okay to the authorities. So that means there are at least 3 guys climbing that container bridge for 1 to 2.5 days with 5 people. So this is the range. So and that means we cannot move containers for 1 to 2.5 days with one container bridge. Multiply that by 60, so you have twice a year, so 120 inspections. And then, so you can see immediately, and then it's dangerous. And I don't know any industrial climber. I'm not sure how many guys of you have relatives who are industrial climbers. Probably none. So you can see the problem. You can see the problem we are having. So and with the drone, we are inspecting the container bridge within 3 hours, taking 1,000 pictures. Unfortunately, later on, our maintenance engineers have to check every single one of these 1,000 pictures. Now that's why we have developed an AI to help them to only view about 100, hopefully, in 1.5 years, things like that. So this is also about quality, efficiency, and safety.
So we have a lot of data and now an AI solution to help analyze it. We're reducing cost, increasing efficiency, and also it sounds like increasing safety quite a bit. Hope I got it. Okay. Now, looking at it from the other side, maybe Philip, you go first this time. What was the most unexpected hurdle you came across in implementing aerial inspections within Swisscom?
I mean, this topic is quite a hot topic since quite a while. And we heard that digital twin, for example, and so on. And we started very enthusiastic, but then we realized like some of that, where is really the value gained? So of the inspection itself, there is a lot of value in terms of efficiency. But we realized like all this nice, I don't know whether you have seen a digital twin, it's something so fascinating. But then many people ask then, yeah, and so what? And this is a bit next to the inspection itself. We also started now to generate use cases where you can go way ahead. So for example, by our mobile masts. So how mobile masts or mobile network are working. Normally, often there is a Swisscom mast, but there are also our competitor on that mast. And they want from time to time also to know how is their antenna, and you need to provide all that information. And with like intelligent digital twins, you can then generate their value added. You can do the digital twin, and you can then exactly tell them, okay, this equipment has this status and so on. So you can enrich information, and then you have a broader range of beneficial services.
Thanks. So basically, the challenge doesn't stop with just the inspection. And because we're talking about AI and digital twins, and so it sounds like cities need to think about what happens afterwards. So what happens back in the office? How do you actually use the information you've gathered, right? Good, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Matthias, what about you?
The biggest hurdles? First of all, the biggest hurdle, I never expected that in the beginning. When we start developing our industry IoT software, which controls the drones, so when you're in software, you know you have to do cybersecurity by design. And I did not expect it will take us 3 years. And if I have known that before, I would never gone this road. Now we are luckily having it. And the second biggest hurdle is that we still have to call every morning when we are flying. We have to call the tower of the Hamburg Port airport to ask them, can we fly? I mean, they're in the north of Hamburg, we're in the south. And they're watching out of their windows, no, the clouds are too low, you cannot fly. And this is still bothering me every day.
And the clouds are too low for you to fly within the port?
Pardon me?
Just so I understand, the clouds are too low for you to fly within the port?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think the port was that tall.
But you know, when you're standing there and I'm looking out of my office, I can see the terminal, which is like probably 3 kilometers away, and I cannot fly an inspection around the container bridge. That is still a little bit for a computer scientist not understandable.
Yeah, it's not very logical. So, but that's a great entree to my next question for Philip, which is flying BVLOS. We've talked a lot about BVLOS during the last day and a half, and FOCA approvals. And how has this gone for you?
So honestly, I was quite exciting when I was asked yesterday whether I can answer here some questions about BVLOS and so on. But unfortunately for the inspection flight, it's the area where we have not yet BVLOS flights. And this is due to, let's say, by us obviously, we need to have an economy behind which is working. And for perimeter protection or also patrolling, this is possible because there you can ask for a defined volume to be able to fly in. For inspection purposes, so what we would like to achieve, I mean, the market will scale with BVLOS. And we are building up our drone network, so we have drones positioned everywhere. And to be able to do also the inspection with BVLOS, we need to be able to, when the drone A is positioned somewhere, to fly to the mobile tower, to the utility tower, whatever, and this is always another route. And up so far, we were on one side using the inspection flight to train our maintenance personnel. Normally they do just maintenance of our drone-in-the-box solution, but that was a good thing that they could also fly a bit drone, and they also know what is it to actually manually fly a drone. So we used it a bit, and yeah, we were just at the moment a bit also afraid of the hurdle which are still there. But I need to say I'm very convinced, and yesterday was also the discussion. I mean, the inspection flight, it also doesn't make sense to just do it in no urban area. I mean, like utility line always goes into a city. Like mobile masts are there where people are, and people are in the city. But I'm really convinced, and maybe some of you have also seen the presentation at the EASA with SORA 2.5, and by using the mobile data, we will have kind of solved the ground risk problem. And with that, I'm very convinced, and this is very close coming. So I've heard May, that it is coming in May. And I'm convinced with that we will be able to fly on a longer distance safely. So also we who don't have a big haven, we really fly over public, let's say, and I'm really convinced that this is going to be the next step we will achieve in BVLOS operation. But maybe just to add, you also ask how it is with the authority, and I need to say, I mean, the SORA is a very complex process, but I need to say how it is approached, especially here in Switzerland. It's in a very good way. It's a process. The people are there. You can discuss something. So the process itself is very good. I think the authority takes a lot of time and is also willing to help. But obviously, yeah, we need to have also the underlying legal aspect, which need to be there, that we can operate in such complex environments.
So I know that Swisscom also provides services for clients, but I want to start with Matthias. What would be your advice to a city that wants to get into this topic? Should they try to bring everything in-house? Should they look for a partner to get their approvals for them, to fly their drones for them? Where do you see the line being drawn between what cities do themselves versus what they get partners to help them with?
Yeah, for me, I have my personal opinion, which I let you know. I would say the market and things like that are still on development phase, or still early. So that means if you want to add a drone into your business, you really have to clarify where does the drone really add value. So who can that do better than your own guys? And then implement that into the processes of work of your own guys. So that means, from my opinion, you have to start doing it by yourself with some pilots and things like that, trying to organize all the processes, the technologies and all this kind of stuff. And if it's working, you can outsource, because the question next comes is whom to outsource to. I mean, when you look at drone operators in Germany, for example, most of the companies, they have like 4 to 5 employees. How do you want to cover a city with 4 to 5 drone pilots? And you know, so therefore I think it's unrealistic to think I just want the data and want to process the data and not having to do with anything capturing it. So this is for me unrealistic. And if we are going into the next phase, which means having these mobile robots for reality capturing, feeding in the data into a city metaverse, having all collaborative other disciplines looking at the same data, that is something which is too big to be outsourced in the beginning, I would say.
Do you have anything to add on that one, Philip? It's okay if you don't, but go for it if you do.
Yeah, from our side I mean, we have been a bit pushed into that we are actually a drone operator. And by companies who realize that, it's very hard for a company to operate itself. If you are here in the garden, and especially at night, you will see like a glass building where the light is on through the night. That's actually our operational center. And even though we have not yet that much operation, it needs 17 people who can do that in a 24/7 environment. So it takes a lot of manpower, but it also takes a lot of certifications behind and training of those people. So that's why, in my opinion, not many companies can actually do that. But in the end, we as Swisscom, we are a service provider. By us, we don't care. It depends on our customer, whatever he wants.
Okay, we have one question in Slido. More questions, guys. And I'm going to go ahead and ask this now, because this was actually along the lines of the next question I was going to ask Philip anyway. So what plans, if any, do mobile carriers or Swisscom specifically have regarding dedicated aerial communication networks for drones?
So, me personally, I'm sure that the network we have today is good enough for the most of our operation. It's a bit a difficulty to prove that also to the authority because the mobile network, as the way we build it, it's kind of complex. So you can't just say as normal when you build a landline, like you have 99.9999 SLA on that. So it's a more complex way. But we think we figured now a way how we can prove like that it is capable enough. So in general, I think it's not absolutely necessary, but yes, there are plans in different direction to cover, let's say, the air better. But this is and this is also always important to be here very clear. On one side, we have the operation of nowadays, and we need to have solution for that. And we need to have that solution better today than tomorrow. But obviously there we saw a lot of like robot taxi and so on. And for this, yes, there is also a lot of work in like covering the air better. This for sure. But I think I don't need to tell you that this is quite an investment, and which means you also need to have a good enough market for it.
And I just want to add one thing to that question, a follow-on. What about cybersecurity? Matthias already talked about cybersecurity. Is the inherent cybersecurity in the telecommunications network enough as the BVLOS applications scale and we have, urban air mobility, or do you foresee that there needs to be something additional overlaid at some point in the future? So
we are since long an IT company, not just a telecom provider, and the cyber security is one of our offering and obviously also one of the biggest challenge today. The mobile network is in the end internet, so to speak, very simplified. It's good that nobody else from Swisscom is listening to that. But yeah, and there obviously we are quite used to have the security to that. But I had also during lunch discussion about which drones to be used and so on. This is the critical part. Let's say more, when does it come to which network? And this is a big challenge. We know who is the biggest manufacturer, and yeah, this is something to be solved. But per se, the mobile network operator, if used in the right way, you can do it enough safely. But as we have heard, it's not an easy task.
I mean, the point is, we are selling our product globally. So, and the drones are controlled via mobile networks. So it means whom is going to attack it? How do you bring your product into existing IT networks and into we combine it with SAP and all this kind of stuff. So and the customers, they can expect that my product is cyber secured, not the managing or governance or whatever, like according to ISO 27001. So it's about my product being cyber secured, and that is what customers can expect. And this is a hard way to do, because I cannot expect from let's say a mobile network being all the time cyber secured, or the infrastructure which is already existing is cyber secured. So therefore I think there are additional things needed, and that's why we have done it.
Okay, great. So we have a question for you, Matthias, which is a few questions. I'll try to simplify it a bit. So looking forward to the future, how do you see ground, air, and water robots and or drones being managed together? And let me stop there, because then I think data is a separate question.
Okay, yes, we do see that for sure. With water robots, it's a little bit difficult. So swimming robots is surely not an issue, but diving robots, everybody knows it's not easy to get radio frequencies into the water. So basically, you need a cable still. So let's see if something is coming. I do not see that, but anyway, we are combining already in our control center the driving robots and the flying robots. So I give you two examples. First of all, if we want to protect the fence, or let's see a fence is already broken, it's easier to have the driving robot which gives you the horizontal view, because that guy goes along 17 hours instead of a drone having 20 to 30 minutes. So, and the combination of two views, the horizontal and the vertical view, that is what I believe in is making sense for surveillance, for security reasons. Or if you think about police have to do an operation in the woods or forest. How do you do that with a drone? You know, you cannot look through. So these are one thing, and the other thing is we see that in transport. Let's say you're in intralogistics, you're having your warehouse and you're having your factory. And then you have a bus service with drones in between. And so the question is, how does this little parcel from the drone comes into the factory hall where the guy works? You probably will not, I mean, I do not know any union who will allow the drone being flying into the factory hall. I do not see that. So therefore, we think putting the parcel on a driving robot, release it, drive it into the factory, and the drone goes away. So these are two kind of things we are working hard on. And then by next, in our research, we are doing already with swimming robots, and so this will be the future, I think.
Okay, but if I understand correctly, your control center is already managing all three?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And we could look at the second part of the question then, if you want, which was what about the data that you gather from all three? I assume if everything's coming into the same control center, you're already able to integrate the data?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. He sounds tentative. Do you believe him? I'm not sure. Okay, 5G. Oh, my favorite topic. 5G. So the question is this a pillar for scaling drone operations or just nice to have? And I would like to add to that, since you're a telecom guy. We heard about 5G for years and how 5G slicing was going to save the world, and there was going to be 5G slicing for drones and UAM. So maybe you could add that to your answer too, your thoughts on that.
So I think it has been well communicated what are the advantages of 5G. And it has a lot of advantages in terms of latency, obviously also in terms of data, the amount of data you can, the throughput in the end. And yes, things like slicing and all that kind of stuff is also possible. But again, I need to say, nowadays with 4G and 5G, I mean, we have the both network at the moment, the 95% of use cases can be covered very well. So I think it would be the wrong statement that we need to wait for 5G fully. I mean, it's rolled out already fully. So no, we don't need to wait. We have everything what we need today. But obviously 5G, especially in terms of latency and also data throughput, will help the drone operator. And yeah, slicing is a bit the question of what you asked me before. Is it a different network, even an air network, so to call, or is it slicing? That's something which the market will need to decide. Also slicing, I'm always a bit afraid when I hear like little drone operator speaking about slicing and so on. This is a very complex thing. And complex means also very expensive. So at the moment we have what we need. That's the message.
Okay. And I have, this is maybe a yes or no question for Matthias. Do you envision offering services outside of the port, so inspecting bridges or critical infrastructure for the region?
Actually not. So because we are tech guys, we are techies, we are engineers, we are software people, we have no clue about how to inspect a bridge. If somebody teaches us, and we will probably do so, but so we are only doing services for our mother company. Yes, I'm still kind of considering, does it make sense to do services on a long run? This is something we have not decided, but for now we will do our technology development, we will produce technology and sell it and enable others to do proper services which are better in that.
Okay, so we're getting to the close of our panel, and I just want to ask you each one last question, and this is a fun question. This can be your business opinion or your personal opinion. What are you most excited about for the future of drones?
Yeah, for me...
Shouldn't be the hardest question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a technology guy, and we are hearing a lot of self-navigating drones and things like that. So I think with sensor fusion and all this kind of stuff, which navigates, which does collect data, I think we are still in the beginning because the, let's say, inspection cameras are still too big. So and there are more to come, and I'm looking forward for implementing all these in technologies. And for example, we have an issue if you want to inspect the welding thing, you usually need radar. How do you do that with a drone? So this is something I'm really looking forward, and I think we are very, very early stage, and we probably don't know what is all to come.
Okay, great. Philip?
It's a funny question because I had it with my wife recently. Like 5 years she was an engineer, and 5 years or 6 years before she decided to become a doctor because she wants to do something good for people in life, which is a very, very broad statement. But I think we as the drone industry, for example, the perimeter protection cases we are doing at the moment in Switzerland, we have 10% too little security personnel. So it's not just something fancy and nice we do. So we really help the society in things to infrastructure inspection, that the infrastructure is safe. So we can really help the society to solve problems which are here, and this is what is driving me and which makes me really exciting about the very near future.
Great. Thank you, Matthias and Philip. Some great insight, I think.